So there's a new asshole in town.
Lying to all of his fans to try and scam them out of millions of dollars.
The Russian Sharmuta, the penthouse, the cars.
It's all based on a lie. Coach Greg, in today's video, we got another one. A fake alpha male lying to all of his fans to try and scam them out of millions of dollars. He goes by the name of Vincent Fisher. He's got 370,000 followers on Instagram. I'm hoping most of them are real. And he's only 22 years of age. And at the age of 17, as John Bravo put it, he was just your average giraffe-looking skinny teenager. But he had a dream. And that would be to be richer than last time. And in his words, not mine, to do it by legal or illegal methods. Whatever it takes.
So there's a new asshole in town. This giraffe-looking piece of shit with pubic hair.
He has great teeth. I'm not a fan of his beard, not a fan of his hair. John Bravo states it looks like pubes. The painted eyelashes, to me, it's a bit much. But hey, bro is over 6 feet tall, probably 6'8", and so he can get away with almost anything.
To some degree, life is materialistic, right? It's always broke people judging rich people.
It isn't always broke people judging rich people. I actually am a rich person, and I once was broke. You wouldn't convince her to be sitting behind you, rubbing your shoulders and trying to brag to the world that you have a girlfriend. When you're actually rich, you don't need to show off your girlfriend. She's not gonna sit there on your shoulders recording your videos. This just looks pathetic.
I don't need a hypercar. I have a Honda. You can't get a hypercar. And for that reason, you're hating, right? But to some degree, the results in your life reflect that you have the blueprint figured out.
And so you rent a car, you pay some money, and you say, I'm gonna just take some photos, some video, and tell everyone that I own this. I mean, how hard is that? You go to a Lamborghini dealership, Ferrari, whatever, and you videotape the entire thing and say, hey, look at all my cars.
Right, if I was telling you guys all this shit, but I didn't have a penthouse, I didn't have a Russian model rubbing my shoulders, I don't have 4 million in cars, what's the validity to my statements? There is none.
It means that what he's selling has no substance whatsoever, and he has to mask it by making it look like his skills, his knowledge, his talents allowed him to make millions of dollars. Now, even if he did make millions of dollars, you're not going to have $4 million in cars. Think of it. Should you spend more money on cars than you've actually made? I mean, what sense would that make? You shouldn't spend more than, I don't know, at most 20% of your earnings on a car. If you have $4 million in cars, you would have to have at least $20 million to make that even make sense.
So I went and I got the address for the place and I looked it up and I found an old Zillow listing, right? But something was very interesting in this Zillow listing.
How stupid is this? The penthouse that he claims he owns, which he doesn't, and we have proof. Look at the name on the deed on the owner of that house and notice that several years ago, it was for rent under $7,000 a month, and that the house looks exactly the same then as it does now. How is it possible that he currently owns a house that someone else owns? I'm asking you. And so, is it possible that he rented the house for a month, took some photos, videos, posted it, and said, this is what I own?
Going to Fry's, wink at the goddamn waitress. Hey, on the house.
That's somehow impressive? That you convinced a teenager to give you a free bag of fries because you winked at her? She was probably scared. Scared of the pubes all over your face, your hair, and your beard, and so on. You winked at her with the 7-foot pubes all over your face, and she's like, yeah, take his free. You thought she actually liked you. She was disgusted, and she thought, how do I get this man out of my face faster than last time? And so she gave you a free bag of fries. Get away, don't have to pay, bye. That's what happened. And you use that to brag that we should hire you because you have the secrets on how to make money. Really?
This asshole Vinny, he was 17 years old, right? He was a kid. He was skinny as hell, right? So he wanted to get bigger. And he admits here, I'm going to show you in a moment, that he took steroids.
And so what was his real secret? Steroids. I mean, is that shocking to you?
I got up to like 220 during that time. But what happened was I had health issues. And then on top of that, my psychological wasn't on point, where I'm like crashing out and I'm like started arguments. I wasn't being the stoic person I am. Ref. And then I kind of removed myself from that. That's another reason. I've never said this on camera, but that's why I stopped strictly selling fitness programs.
This man knows more than Mr. Mike about the dangers of using performance-enhancing drugs. He literally stopped them because what it was doing to his mind and his body. And so remember, if you want to get your blood work done, you can go to AlgoRx, check it out, see how healthy you are. And what can a doctor prescribe you? Do you need telmisartan, Cialis, Viagra, Ozempic, terzipatide, enclomiphene, HRT? What do you need? Doctors will prescribe you pharmaceutical medications at significantly cheaper prices than their competition. For example, Americ And so if you're interested, code Greg, 10% off.
When you're a kid and you take shit like this, it's gonna age you prematurely. It's gonna make you look 10, 15 years, if not more, older.
And so look at him in 2020. Imagine going from that in 2020 to him right now. Now, perhaps when you're younger, you're thinking this is good, but when you get older, you're going to want to look younger. When you're younger, perhaps you want to look older, but remember, this can actually age you. Be careful what you wish for. We've seen it amongst various people. I've shown a number of people do this in the past. They get on steroids and yeah, they get bigger, but they look significantly worse.
And you saw how he was saying he had health problems and he had to stop? Well, what happened? His business that he was teaching the kids this shit had to stop too because he was going to shrink up like a little bitch.
And so what he did, he stopped selling coaching programs. I mean, does anyone believe that he was actually selling them in the first place? Oh yeah, I just suddenly stopped. You know, my morals, they changed. You know, it's not right to scam people out of their money. And so I'm just going to stop selling those programs, even though I'm making $10,000 or more a month. How many people believe that? I mean, does this not remind you of Hamza? Hamza was using performance-enhancing drugs, testosterone, and selling programs to help you from going from a Jeffrey into a Chad. But yet the secret, which he didn't tell anyone, was testosterone. Well, until now. He now admits it, and so you can see he was a liar all along.
So he had another bright idea, the same one as all the rest of these assholes. He's gonna sell people programs on how to coach people to be coaches. It's like a modern day pyramid scheme, right?
Personally, I see nothing wrong with that. If you know how to go viral, and you can teach others to go viral, well, that is actually worth some money. But think of this. Do you really think that he's making millions of dollars doing this?
You know, my target audience is people my age. Like the oldest, you know, there's a few outliers in a group of guys that are a little bit older, but as a rule of thumb in general, my guys are in their early 20s, same age as me.
He literally describes his target audience. Like, who's actually hiring these guys? He's a 22-year-old guy. Young people. And so it's teenagers and guys in their early 20s up to say 22, 23 years of age. Guys who have no jobs, who want to get famous. And so they hire him to teach him, hey, what kind of video do I do? What's the hook? What do I say? How do I upload? How many of those people are rich and are willing to spend money on high ticket items, let's say $10,000 or more for programs, in order to work with this guy? If he's making $600,000 to $800,000 a month and he sells $10,000 programs, he would need to sell a minimum of 60 in a month to make the base of $600,000. How many 20-year-olds do you know walking around with $10,000 extra dollars to hand over to take a course? Does anyone believe this? I mean, let's compare him to Hussein Farhat. This guy has 377,000 followers. Hussein has about 10 times more than that. 10 times more. Does anyone think that Hussein is making $6 to $8 million a month? Of course not. And so, is it even possible that he's making more than Hussein? Absolutely not. And so, based on his following, I would say it's possible, maybe, that he's making 10% of what he claims. He's claiming $600,000 to $800,000 a month. I believe he could be making 60 to 80, which is fantastic. But why do we lie? We're going to lie and brag and say we're making $600,000 to $800,000 a month. That's close to $10 million a year. And so, does anyone actually believe this? I mean, if he was actually making that much money, he could potentially own those cars. It would still be moronic. Why would you spend that much money in cars when you're only making $10 million? And remember that penthouse he claims that he's buying, it's only worth a little bit over $1 million. Who in their right mind that makes any kind of sense whatsoever that you would hire them to coach you on anything would spend $1 million on where they're living and $4 million on cars.
I mean, if I teach you how to go viral and I teach you how to make money and I happen to be viral and make money, that's living proof that I know to some degree what I'm talking about.
Yes, but if you're adding a zero to the money that you're making and pretending to own $4 million in cars and lying about the house that you're in and claiming that you have a Russian model that's in love with you when she's paid, well, that would be a scam now, wouldn't it?
We're buying a $3.5 million hypercar at 22 years old.
And so on top of all those vehicles, he's now going to buy a $3.5 million car at age of 22. How is that actually possible?
I don't know if I've ever shown the penthouse on the channel, but you guys can see here, this the spot we got in. And boys, when I say penthouse, I don't mean 40th floor. When I say penthouse, I mean it's 2 stories and there's absolutely nothing above us if you guys take a look outside.
I mean, the only way this guy's making this much money is if he's good at basketball. I mean, if he's close to 7 feet tall and he's 22 with that kind of a build, he looks like a basketball player.
I went to the tax website on the address of the house, and lo and behold, he's not the owner of it, right? I went and looked up the MLS, and it says that it was rented last October.
And so somebody else owns this house and that it was rented last year for just under $7,000 a month. What do you guys think of that? $4 per square feet. And so I could literally rent my house out for $33,000 a month. This is insane. $4 per square foot. To me, that's a lot.
I spoke to the neighbors there, and they said they only see him there once in a while. So what's the real story? We don't know.
There he is in the pool and taking 30 takes. He screams and smiles and does his thing. And he does it 30 times. You know, it's just like how women do it. They can't just post the first try. They have to redo it every single time, every different angle, just to look perfect.
The cars he drives are from that same shady place other influencers get their cars from. Remember Wes when he was in the car arguing about not having a title and registration?
What are the odds of that? That maybe they're just renting the car so that they can post the car on social media, perhaps give some exposure for the dealership in order to sell more cars. I mean, no one would ever do that, right?
The thing is, I was either going to end up ridiculously rich with the right thing or ridiculously rich a criminal. Just because that's how my mind works.
And so, you know, that's how his mind works. Whether it's through honesty or dishonesty, he's going to end up rich. And so do you really think he wouldn't put it past him to lie? He literally is saying, I don't care if I have to be a criminal to be rich. I'm going to be rich. And so what makes you think that he hasn't been lying all along? And in case you need more proof, well, let's see what he says himself. On Instagram, day 1365 of pretending to be rich. This is the first sentence on his post. Girls, cars, and physique are all rented.
I love debt, and I think that's why America is the place that people move to go 0 to 100, because you have access to other people's money.
Now hear me out. Why would he need access to other people's money when he has so much of it himself? If he's making $600,000 to $800,000 a month, getting close to $10 million a year, he's at least in the top 0.1% earners, probably 0.01%. Why would a man with that much money need other people's money? Do you know the types of people that need other people's money? The people who don't make that much money. They want yours. And so if you make $10 million a year, other people want your money. And so guys, you're not going to get rich to this extent selling high ticket items to 20-year-olds that don't have any money. If you're actually trying to get rich, you need to sell things to rich people. Does that make sense?
You know how he was saying criminal shit? Look what he says here. Remember how I told you, people were fucking with my channel? I didn't mention names, but we all know who it was, right?
But I'm in the world of business, right? To some degree, I'm in the education game on a smaller scale. Yeah. So if somebody were making serious, false, defamatory threats against me, if that's even a word, a split second of my mind goes, and how much would it cost to delete this person? Not kill them. Like, how much would it cost to take the channel down? Yeah.
This is the character of the man that we're talking about. If somebody says something negative about him, he's not going to let it slide. He'll pay somebody off to try to mess with them.
Like, how much would it cost to take the channel down? Yeah. 2,000. All right, let's do that.
He thinks you can delete someone for $2,000? Really? He thinks you can delete someone for $2,000. You know he hasn't done it yet, because trust me, it's going to take a lot more than that amount of money to try to cancel someone.
The Russian sharmuta, the penthouse, the cars, they don't want this shit. So what do? They buy his program. In the end, think about it, right? If enough of these assholes buy it.
Like, imagine standing there with a bunch of $100 bills on the floor, which you can buy at Walmart if you want for Halloween, and then showing a bunch of hundreds, which again, could just be some stack you bought at Walmart, and then flashing it in front of the camera to brag. Even if it is real, which is not that hard, you just go there and you get 100 grand and take it out. It shouldn't be that hard to find $100,000 if you're claiming to make $600,000 to $800,000 a month. All he has to do is to make 10% of the money that he's claiming, and you all are going to fall for it. And so trust me, it is not all that hard. When you're living beyond your means, or if you're house poor, for example, you spend all your money at the bar, you could make it look like you're a baller. Hey, you're a multimillionaire. You're spending thousands of dollars on the weekend, but you're literally living at your limit. And so if you think his programs are worth it, I suggest you purchase G Focus. Have you thinking harder than last time? And if you're trying to get harder than last time, perhaps you have a Sharmuta friend. You can get harder than last time. You know what it's for. You can't sleep? We got Delta Sleep. If you're too hungry, the food noise is too strong, you're trying to lose weight, you can get GLP Max for all the supplements. Code Greg, 15% off. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you liked it, watch the bloops, and buy cookbooks, buy the coaching plans that I have. Makes sense. Buy it for me. I actually make sense. And until next time, I am out.